Despite the success of the Kwahu Unity Festival, not everyone in the village was pleased with the direction Kwahu was taking. Among the dissenters were a few influential elders who believed that the old ways should remain untouched. They felt that the changes Sanya and her supporters were advocating were too radical and threatened the traditional values that had held the village together for generations. Elder Ajiman, one of the most vocal opponents, called a meeting of like-minded villagers. They gathered in his home, a modest but well-kept structure that had been the site of many important discussions over the years. The room was filled with murmurs of discontent as the villagers voiced their concerns. This festival was nothing but a display of chaos and disregard for our traditions. Elder Ajiman began, his voice firm and authoritative. Sanya's ideas are turning our village upside down. We must preserve our customs and our way of life. Several villagers nodded in agreement. Kwaku, a middle-aged farmer, spoke up. I understand that we need to adapt and grow, but I fear we are losing our identity in the process. The children are being taught things that go against what we have always believed. Nana, an elder woman who had always been a staunch defender of tradition, added, Our ancestors laid down these customs for a reason. They are the foundation of who we are. If we abandon them, what will become of us? The room fell silent as Elder Ajiman stood up, his eyes scanning the faces of those gathered. We need to take action, he declared. We must remind the village council and the villagers of the importance of our traditions. We must show them that the path Sanya is leading us down is not the right one. The group agreed to present their concerns at the next village council meeting. They began to prepare their arguments, gathering evidence of how the recent changes were affecting the village. They also sought out other villagers who shared their views, hoping to gain more support. Meanwhile, Sanya continued her work, unaware of the growing opposition. She was busy organizing more activities at the community center, planning follow-up events from the festival, and working with the school to further develop the new curriculum. Her days were filled with meetings, planning sessions, and community interactions. One afternoon, as Sanya was preparing for a workshop at the community center, her friend Amma approached her with a worried expression. Sanya, have you heard the rumors? Amma asked, her voice low. Sanya looked up from her notes, puzzled. What rumors? Elder Ajiman and some others are planning to speak against the changes you've been implementing. They're saying that you're leading the village away from its traditions and that it's causing harm. Sanya's heart sank. She had anticipated some resistance, but she hadn't expected it to gain this much traction. What should I do? Ama, she asked, feeling a mix of anxiety and determination. You need to address their concerns directly, Ama advised. Show them that what you're doing is not about destroying traditions, but about enriching them. You've always believed in unity and understanding, and you need to make them see that. Taking Ama's advice to heart, Sanya decided to call a village-wide meeting before the council session. She wanted to hear from everyone, both supporters and critics, and address their concerns openly. She believed in the power of dialogue and hoped that through honest conversation, they could find common ground. The meeting was held in the village square, under the large baobab tree that had stood as a symbol of wisdom and resilience for generations. Villagers gathered, curious and anxious, filling the square with a sense of anticipation. Sanya stood before them, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. Thank you all for coming, she began. I've heard that there are concerns about the changes we've been making in Kwahu. I want to hear from you, to understand your worries, and to address them together. Elder Ajiman was the first to speak. Sanya, we respect your intentions, but we fear that these changes are eroding our traditions. Our customs have sustained us for generations. Why should we alter them now? Sanya nodded, acknowledging his concerns. I understand your fear, Elder Ajiman, but change doesn't have to mean abandoning our traditions. It can mean enhancing them, making them more inclusive and reflective of the world we live in today. Our traditions should grow with us, not hold us back. Kwaku stepped forward next. What about our children? They are being taught things that are new and unfamiliar. How do we know these changes are for the best? Sanya addressed Kwaku directly. Our children are the future of Kwahu. By teaching them to embrace diversity and practice empathy, we are preparing them for a world that is constantly evolving. We are giving them the tools to thrive, to be compassionate leaders, and to respect others, regardless of differences. As more villagers voiced their concerns, Sanya listened patiently, addressing each point with care and understanding. She emphasized that the core values of their traditions, respect, community, and resilience, were not being discarded but rather being expanded upon to include everyone. By the end of the meeting, the atmosphere had shifted. While not everyone was convinced, many began to see the merit in Sanya's approach. The dialogue had opened minds and hearts, planting seeds of understanding and acceptance. Elder Isai, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. Change is never easy, and it often brings fear. But we must remember that our strength lies in our unity. Sanya is not taking us away from our roots, she is helping us grow stronger and more inclusive. Let us move forward together, with respect for both our traditions and our future. The villagers left the meeting with much to think about. Sanya knew that the road ahead would still be challenging, but she felt more confident knowing that dialogue and understanding were the keys to navigating these challenges. She was determined to continue working towards a united and progressive Kwahu, one step at a time. Following the village-wide meeting, Sanya was encouraged by the progress made, but she knew the journey to full acceptance and understanding was far from over. The seeds of doubt had been planted, but so too had the seeds of dialogue and potential reconciliation. To further bridge the gap between the proponents of tradition and the advocates for change, Sanya decided to take a more personal approach. She started by visiting Elder Agyeman at his home. Sanya knew that gaining his support, or at least his understanding, was crucial to the village's unity. As she approached his house, she felt a mixture of determination and nervousness. Elder Agyeman was respected and influential, and his endorsement could sway many who were still undecided. Elder Agyeman Sanya greeted respectfully as she entered his compound. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with me." Elder Agyeman, a tall man with a stern yet wise countenance, nodded. "Come in, Sanya. Let us talk." Sanya began by acknowledging the elder's concerns. "I understand that the changes we are advocating for can seem overwhelming and even threatening to our traditional way of life. But I believe that if we work together, we can find a balance that honors our past while embracing our future." Elder Agyeman listened intently, his expression thoughtful. "Sanya, it is not change itself that I fear, but the pace and the direction of these changes. Our traditions are the foundation of who we are." Sanya nodded. "I agree, Elder. Our traditions are vital. They give us identity and continuity. What I am proposing is not to erase them, but to adapt them, to make them inclusive so that every member of our community feels valued and respected." Elder Agyeman leaned back in his chair, considering her words. "How do you propose we do that without losing the essence of our customs?" Sanya smiled. "Through dialogue and mutual respect. We can start by integrating new practices into our existing traditions. For example, during our festivals, we can include performances and stories from all parts of our community. In our daily rituals, we can recognize the contributions of everyone, regardless of their background." Elder Agyeman stroked his chin thoughtfully. "It is a delicate balance you are suggesting, but I see merit in your approach. Perhaps we should pilot this idea during the next significant village event." Feeling a glimmer of hope, Sanya responded, "That is a wonderful idea, Elder. The Yam festival is coming up. We could incorporate some of these elements there, with your guidance." The elder agreed, and they spent the next few hours discussing specific ways to integrate inclusive practices into the festival. By the end of their meeting, Sanya felt a sense of accomplishment. She had taken a crucial step towards bridging the gap between tradition and progress. With Elder Agyeman's tentative support, Sanya next focused on the youth of Kwahu. She organized a series of workshops at the community center, where young people could learn about both traditional practices and modern perspectives. These workshops were designed to foster a sense of pride in their heritage while encouraging open-mindedness and innovation. One of the most popular workshops was a storytelling session where elders shared ancient tales alongside contemporary stories from around the world. The young participants were fascinated, realizing that wisdom and heroism transcended cultures and times. Kojo, one of the village's young leaders, approached Sanya after one such session. "These stories are incredible," he said. I never knew our traditions had so many similarities with those of other cultures. It makes me proud of our heritage and curious about the world." Sanya smiled. "That's exactly the point, Kojo. Our heritage is rich and meaningful, and it can coexist with new ideas and perspectives. By understanding and appreciating both, we can build a stronger, more united community." As the workshops continued, Sanya noticed a shift in the attitudes of the participants. They began to see themselves as part of a larger, interconnected world, while still holding pride in their own identity. This dual perspective was precisely what Sanya hoped to achieve. In the weeks leading up to the Yam festival, the entire village buzzed with anticipation and activity. Preparations were in full swing, with everyone contributing in their own way. The planning committee, now including Elder Agyeman, worked tirelessly to ensure that the festival would be a harmonious blend of tradition and innovation. On the day of the festival, the village square was transformed into a vibrant celebration of culture and community. Traditional yam dishes were prepared alongside new culinary creations, symbolizing the blending of old and new. Performers from different backgrounds showcased their talents, and storytellers from various cultures took to the stage. One of the highlights of the festival was a ceremonial dance that incorporated movements and music from different traditions. It was a powerful symbol of unity, and as the dancers moved in harmony, the villagers watched with a mix of pride and awe. Elder Agyeman, standing next to Sanya, turned to her with a smile. "You have done well, Sanya. This festival truly reflects the spirit of Kwahu. It honors our traditions while embracing the future." Sanya felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Elder. I couldn't have done it without your support and the support of the entire village." As the festival continued into the night, Sanya looked around at the smiling faces of her fellow villagers. She saw hope, acceptance, and a shared sense of purpose. The journey to unity was still ongoing, but they had made significant strides. With each step forward, they were building a stronger, more inclusive Kwahu. The festival was a testament to what could be achieved through dialogue, respect, and collaboration. It was a celebration of diversity and unity, a promise of a brighter future for all. And as Sanya stood there, surrounded by her community, she knew that together, they could overcome any challenge that came their way. The success of the Yam Festival marked a turning point for Kwahu. The event had demonstrated that the village could honor its traditions while embracing new ideas, and this newfound harmony inspired Sanya to focus even more on the future of the community, the children and young people. Sanya's next initiative was to create a youth council, giving the younger generation a platform to voice their opinions and participate actively in village affairs. She believed that empowering the youth was essential for the long-term prosperity and unity of Kwahu. With the support of Elder Agyeman and other influential villagers, she set about making this vision a reality. The Youth Council was inaugurated with a ceremony at the community center. Young villagers, dressed in colorful traditional attire, filled the hall, buzzing with excitement and curiosity. The event began with a speech from Elder Agyeman, who had become a significant advocate for Sanya's initiatives. "My dear young ones," Elder Agyeman began, his voice resonating with authority and warmth, "today we mark a new chapter in our village's history. You are the future of Kwahu, and your voices matter. This council is your opportunity to shape the path we walk together." The elder's words were met with applause and cheers. Sanya then took the stage, her heart swelling with pride and hope. "Thank you, Elder Agyeman," she said. "And thank you all for being here. This youth council is not just a symbolic gesture, it's a commitment to listen to you, to learn from you, and to work with you. You have the power to bring about meaningful change." The council consisted of representatives from each age group, ensuring that all voices were heard. These young leaders were chosen for their passion, dedication, and willingness to serve their community. Among them was Kojo, whose enthusiasm and leadership skills had made him a natural choice for the council. As the meeting progressed, the young representatives began to share their ideas and concerns. They spoke about the need for better educational resources, opportunities for sports and arts, and the importance of environmental conservation. They also discussed ways to bridge the gap between generations, ensuring that the wisdom of the elders was preserved and respected. One of the council members, Ajoa, a bright and articulate girl, raised a particularly poignant issue. We need to address the stigma and bullying that some of our peers face, she said. Everyone should feel safe and valued in our community, regardless of their differences. Her words resonated deeply with Sanya, who had faced similar challenges in her own journey. She nodded in agreement. Ajoa is right. Inclusivity and respect are fundamental to our unity. We must work together to create an environment where everyone feels accepted and supported. The youth council's discussions continued late into the afternoon, with ideas flowing freely and passionately. By the end of the meeting, they had outlined several actionable plans, including mentorship programs, cultural exchange events, and environmental cleanup initiatives. Sanya was impressed by their vision and commitment. In the weeks that followed, the Youth Council's initiatives began to take shape. The mentorship program paired younger children with older students, fostering a sense of community and mutual support. Cultural exchange events brought together villagers from different backgrounds to share their stories, traditions, and talents, promoting understanding and appreciation. One of the most impactful projects was the Environmental Cleanup Initiative. The Youth Council organized a village-wide effort to clean up the riverbanks and surrounding areas, which had suffered from neglect. Armed with gloves, bags, and a strong sense of purpose, the villagers, young and old, came together to restore their natural environment. As they worked side by side, conversations flowed, and bonds were strengthened. Elder Aguiman, who joined the cleanup effort, remarked to Sanya, "This is exactly what we need. A united community, working together for the common good." Sanya smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Yes, Elder, this is just the beginning. Together we can achieve so much." The environmental cleanup not only beautified the village but also instilled a sense of pride and responsibility in the community. The riverbanks, once littered with debris, now sparkled with clear water, and the surrounding areas were lush and green. As the weeks turned into months, the initiative spearheaded by the Youth Council continued to flourish. The mentorship program led to improved academic performance and greater confidence among the younger children. Cultural exchange events enriched the villagers' understanding of their diverse heritage, fostering a deeper sense of unity. Through these efforts, the young leaders of Kwahu were not just making a difference in their community, they were also learning valuable lessons in leadership, empathy, and civic responsibility. The Youth Council had become a cornerstone of the village's progress, embodying the spirit of collaboration and innovation that Sanya had envisioned. One evening, as Sanya walked through the village, she saw Kojo and Ajoa leading a group of children in a traditional dance. The children's laughter and the rhythm of the drums filled the air, creating a joyous and uplifting atmosphere. Sanya felt a profound sense of gratitude and hope. She knew that the road ahead would still have its challenges, but with the youth at the forefront, Kwahu was on a path to a brighter, more inclusive future. The seeds of doubt that once threatened their unity had been replaced by the seeds of hope and collaboration, nurtured by the voices of the future. Despite the strides made by the Youth Council and the growing sense of unity in Kwahu, there remained pockets of resistance among some of the elders and more conservative villagers. These individuals, deeply rooted in tradition, found it difficult to accept the rapid changes and the new roles that the younger generation was taking on. Sanya knew that to truly move forward, she had to address these concerns directly. One morning, Sanya received an unexpected visitor at her home. It was Elder Opoku, one of the staunchest traditionalists in the village. His presence was both surprising and intriguing, as he had often been a vocal critic of Sanya's initiatives. Elder Opoku Sanya greeted him warmly. "Please come in. How can I help you?" Elder Opoku, a man of few words, nodded and sat down. "Sanya," he began, "I have seen the changes you are bringing to our village. Some are good, but many of us fear that we are losing our identity. I want to understand your vision better." Sanya appreciated his honesty. "Thank you for coming, Elder Opoku. I know change can be unsettling, especially when it involves traditions that we hold dear. My vision is not to erase our past but to build on it, making sure that every member of our community feels included and respected." Elder Opoku sighed. "Our traditions are sacred. They define who we are and connect us to our ancestors. How do you propose we maintain these connections while embracing new ways?" Sanya leaned forward, her voice gentle yet firm. by honoring the essence of our traditions and adapting them to reflect our current realities. For instance, our festivals can continue to celebrate our heritage while incorporating elements that resonate with all generations. It's about evolution, not revolution. Elder Opoku considered her words carefully. Perhaps you are right, Sanya, but there are stories and rituals that have been passed down for centuries. They must not be forgotten. Sanya nodded. I agree, Elder. In fact, I propose that we document these stories and rituals. We can create a community archive where both old and new traditions are preserved. This way, we ensure that our cultural heritage is not only remembered but also celebrated by future generations. Elder Opoku's eyes lit up at the idea. That is a noble initiative. It could bridge the gap between the past and the present, ensuring that our children understand where they come from. With Elder Opoku's cautious approval, Sanya set out to bring this idea to life. She gathered a team of volunteers, including members of the youth council and some of the more open-minded elders, to start the documentation project. They began by interviewing the oldest villagers, recording their stories, and transcribing the details of rituals and ceremonies. The project quickly gained momentum. As the stories and traditions were collected, a tapestry of Kwahu's rich cultural heritage began to emerge. The younger villagers, who had been eager to learn more about their history, found themselves deeply engaged in the process. Kojo, one of the key members of the youth council, was particularly enthusiastic about the project. He spent countless hours with the elders, absorbing their wisdom and gaining a newfound appreciation for his heritage. One afternoon, as Kojo was recording a story from Elder Mensa about the origins of the Yam festival, he realized the depth and beauty of the village's traditions. Elder Mensa Kojo said, "These stories are incredible. They make me feel connected to something much larger than myself." Elder Mensa smiled, his eyes twinkling with pride. "That is the power of our heritage, Kojo. It roots us and gives us strength. But remember, traditions are alive. They grow and change with us." As the Community Archive project progressed, it became a bridge between the generations. Young and old worked side by side, learning from each other and fostering a deeper sense of unity. The process of documentation itself became a ritual of connection, respect, and shared purpose. One of the most significant moments came when Sanya and her team organized a village gathering to unveil the first part of the archive. The event was held in the community center, where large displays showcased the stories, photographs, and artifacts collected so far. Villagers of all ages attended the event, curious and eager to see the fruits of their collective efforts. As they walked through the displays, there were moments of nostalgia, pride, and even tears. The archive was not just a collection of memories, it was a testament to the resilience and richness of Kwahu's culture. During the unveiling ceremony, Sanya addressed the crowd. "This archive is a living tribute to our past and a gift to our future. It belongs to all of us and represents the strength and beauty of our shared heritage. Let us continue to honor our traditions while embracing the possibilities of tomorrow." Her words were met with applause and nods of agreement. Even the most skeptical elders, like Elder Opoku, acknowledged the importance of preserving and celebrating their culture in this way. The success of the Community Archive project marked another milestone in Kwahu's journey towards unity and progress. It demonstrated that tradition and innovation could coexist, enriching each other and strengthening the community as a whole. As the villagers left the community center that evening, there was a palpable sense of pride and hope. They had taken another step towards bridging the gap between the past and the future, guided by the wisdom of their elders and the energy of their youth. Sanya, standing at the entrance of the community center, watched them go with a heart full of gratitude. She knew that the road ahead would still have its challenges, but with each step, they were building a brighter, more inclusive Kwahu. And in that moment, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment and hope for the future. Thanks for watching. Please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel.